Welcome to another video. And yeah, that video I did about the UK bombed. I mean, some videos that I do on this channel, they just bomb. Then for some reason, when I do a video about the US and what's going on here in the US, like the view count just skyrockets. Like those videos getting viewed more than than videos about other countries and other things. So I guess my subscribers aren't into those videos. But I can't force them to like what I put out. I mean, if they like it, they like it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. And speaking of other countries, I'm just thinking, I can't imagine me living in Canada. Yeah, a long time ago, I was interested in going to Canada, going to Canada and seeing how that country is. Got a lot of negativity from some Canadians on videos that I did about Canada. They were telling me a lot of negative stuff about the country. Things that I just can't name at the top of my head. So they were saying all kinds of negative things about the country. So, hearing all that, I think I don't want to live there at all. And I just can't imagine living in that country. I just can't imagine living there. Just can't. I mean, me living in Canada will be kind of weird because, I probably won't thrive in Canada because, my talents will be ignored and I will bomb in that country. I won't thrive in that country at all. Because I heard that, people who moved to that country, who moved to Canada, their talents and their abilities are overlooked and ignored. It doesn't matter what part of Canada that I live in, British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland and Labrador, in the three territories of Yukon, the Northwest Territories, and Nunavut. It doesn't matter what part of Canada that I'm in. I'm not gonna do so well in that country. Yeah. I've been to Canada. The only part of Canada that I ever been to was Victoria on Vancouver Island. That's the only part of Canada that I've been to. So enough of that. What you are seeing on your computer screen, or wherever it is that you're watching this video on, it's a map of New Zealand, and that represents the video that I'm about to do, which is New Zealand. Yeah, I did a video about both Australia and New Zealand, so that video's up on this channel. I already did that. So I'm just gonna do a video that's strictly about New Zealand. So, I'm going to read some quick information about New Zealand. Okay. I'm on Wikipedia on my smartphone. So I'll just read a short information about the country. Okay. New Zealand is an island country in the southwestern Pacific Ocean. It consists of two main land masses, the North Island and the South Island, and over 700 smaller islands. It is the sixth largest island country by area, covering 268,021 square kilometers, or 103,500 square miles. New Zealand is about 2,000 kilometers, 1,200 miles east of Australia, across the Tasman Sea, and 1,000 kilometers, 600 miles south of the islands of New Caledonia, Fiji, and Tonga. The countries vary topographically, and sharp mountain peaks, including the Southern Alps, owes much of the tectonic uplift and volcanic eruptions. New Zealand's capital city is Wellington, and its most populous city is Auckland. Well, let me go back here. Someone from New Zealand told me that Australia and New Zealand are 3,000 kilometers apart. It says here they're both 2,000 kilometers apart. So someone who told me that, they're wrong. So okay, the anthem is, okay, they got two anthems. Okay, the country's national anthem is God Defend New Zealand, and the second anthem is the royal anthem, God Save the Queen. It's a country that's part of the Commonwealth of Nations that were once part of the British Empire as British colonies. So Prince Charles and his wife Camilla, when they become king and queen after Queen Elizabeth II passes away, so what would the royal anthem will be for every Commonwealth nation? God save the king and queen. I don't know, but the Commonwealth and all the nations within the Commonwealth will be, I say, Canada and others will be part of a republic, because I think the Commonwealth realm will dissolve under Prince Charles, who's going to be King Charles, and his wife Camille is going to become queen. I mean, that's going to dissolve under them. So yeah. Okay, enough of that. Clear my throat here. Okay. Their monarch is Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, The Governor General is Cindy Karaku, and the Prime Minister is Jacinda Ardern. They have a parliament and is located in Wellington, which is the capital. That's where New Zealand's parliament is. Okay, independence from the United Kingdom. Okay, they drive on the left in that country, and they use the metric system. So, New Zealand, I've never been to that country, and I've never been to Australia. I mean, if I decide to take a vacation, I might visit both Australia and New Zealand. I'll probably do both countries. I'll do Australia first, then I'll do New Zealand second. And okay, okay, the map that you guys are looking at. Okay, let's see. Yeah, you got okay, the different parts of New Zealand. Okay, the North Island. Okay, the northern tip of the country. You got Northland, Bay of Plenty, Auckland, Raraku, Gippsland, Hawke's Bay, Taranaki, Raraku. Okay, and Wellington. Okay, in the South Island, Tasman, Nelson, Marlborough, West Coast, Canterbury, Otago, and Southland, and Tasman Islands. So yeah, I looked at parts of New Zealand on Google Maps, and I was just blown away just how beautiful some of the parts of that country is. Yeah, yeah, I went on Google Maps and I followed this roadway, somewhere in the country. And I remember I went into some town on Google Maps. Went into some town somewhere in New Zealand, and I just saw this huge, massive roundabout. This roundabout was huge. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Driving through that and giving way / yielding to traffic on that. The term "give way," that's said in that's the terminology for yield. In countries like Australia, New Zealand, and the UK, they use that terminology, give way. Yield, it just basically means yield. Yield and give way are just virtually the same, and it is. So I like saying give way instead of saying yield. So yeah. Well, yeah, yeah, saw pictures of parts of the country. Saw a farm that had lots and lots of sheep. So yeah, speaking of road, since I never been to New Zealand, I'm just curious, I just wonder, like, if are the drivers in New Zealand are worse as drivers in the U.S. But I listened to a radio station out of New Zealand, which is in Wellington. It's called ZB Radio, or News Talk ZB Radio, which is the #1 news and talk station in New Zealand. I listened to one of the people on the radio there. I don't know what their names are. Wow. I don't know what their names were, but they were talking about some people in New Zealand, or all of them, or some of them don't know the rules of the road. And he said that was a guy. He said that they had poor driver's education. So I heard a lot of accidents happen. So yeah, I never driven on the left side of the road, and I never like driven in a car that had the steering wheel and all the controls for the car facing facing the front passenger seat. That's on the right of the seat on the left. So I never experienced that, but I rode a bus in the UK, and 2 buses in the UK, and you enter the bus from the left instead of on the right like you do here in the US and Canada. So it was kind of strange at first, but I kind of got used to it real quickly. So and also there's this nurse who is from New Zealand. It's an old lady, and her name is Ingrid. She's from New Zealand, and she just checks my blood pressure and checks me out, has me sign paperwork before I see my doctor. My doctor is from India. And she's a really nice lady, and she's very, very knowledgeable of her country. I'm learning the metric system. I know a little about the metric system, and I asked her, hey, do you know how much I weigh in kilos? And she asked me this: why you want to know how much you weigh in kilos, and why you learning the metric system? And I said, well, yeah, I need to learn this because I'm going to a country that has the metric system. And she said that, well, you can do math by adding how much you weigh in kilos. So you need your smartphone for that, but I didn't have my smartphone with me. I told her it was in my car and it was recharging because it was very low in battery power. So yeah, yeah. But yeah, also going back to New Zealand on Google Maps, I went to the Northland part of New Zealand, which is the northern part, and this road that runs to the northern part of the Northland part of New Zealand. I saw it. Well, it went to a dead end, and I saw a sign that showed how many miles slash kilometers. Well, kilometers actually. How many kilometers cities in other parts of the world, like how many how many kilometers they are far away, and it showed that Tokyo, Los Angeles, others. Seeing that sign, seeing all those signs. I mean, seeing all those signs on this post at this dead end of this road at the very tip of Northland in New Zealand. I'm just thinking that, I'm thinking that the Kiwis in New Zealand, I mean, I think they're just mad or depressed because they can't travel to any other country because, their country is an island nation and it's surrounded by water. So I think they just put that there, just to make themselves feel good, to, I guess, to imagine that they can go to another country by car, but they can't. They're just trapped on this island. And speaking of that, I'm thinking, okay, you got these truckers in New Zealand that drive semis, heavy goods trucks. And I'm thinking that, here in the U.S., truckers, North America in general, I mean, truckers can drive to to any of the countries in North America, like Canadian truckers in Canada can drive to the U.S. and Mexico, and American truckers can drive to Mexico and Canada, and truckers in Mexico can drive to the U.S. Truckers from Mexico, they're viewed by, I think, some politicians as, they're dangerous. But I don't want to get into that. But but in New Zealand, I mean, I think they can't do that. So truckers in New Zealand, they just drive to different parts of the country, just the North Island and the South Island, and they just travel from the North Island to the South Island through a ferry. And I'm thinking that, can they go to Australia? There's a ferry that takes them from New Zealand to Australia. I'm just curious. I don't know. I don't live in that country, so I don't know. I mean, if someone from New Zealand knows, they can leave a comment in the comment section and tell me about it. Wow. So, yeah, don't make fun of me and assume that I know, but I don't know. So, yeah, and the people of New Zealand, got a glimpse of them here on YouTube, both Australia and New Zealand, but I'll go to New Zealand. I know it's like the older crowd. I think they're they're down to earth and they're sociable and they're easy to talk to. I talked to a New Zealand trucker. And he's pretty cool. You like my comment. He told me that he was freezing to death because it's winter in New Zealand, and I told him I'm here in the U.S. It's summer and I'm burning up. So yeah, the seasons, I think in both Australia, New Zealand, and here in Canada and the U.S. are a little different, So like for instance, right now, it's still spring, but it's going in. Summer is not that far. So after this video is posted, it's gonna be summer. But right now in this video, it's spring. And in New Zealand and Australia, it's like autumn and heading into winter. So these countries are in the different parts of the equator. So okay, the time differences, like going back to New Zealand, the time difference in New Zealand. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm on my smartphone. What time is it in Wellington, New Zealand? Okay, it says here it's 2:30 p.m. in Wellington, New Zealand, and it's Saturday, June the 18th. So it's tomorrow over there, and right now here it's Friday night where I'm at, and it's 9:31 p.m. here, and it's Friday, June the 17th. So weird, like they're halfway through the day, and it's tomorrow over there, Saturday, and it's Friday night where I'm at. Wow. Yeah. I'm getting ready to go to bed, and they're halfway through the day. Yeah. They're like 13 hours or more ahead of where I'm living at. So, yeah. So, yeah, this is funny. Yeah, I heard about this Freedom Style convoy that happened in New Zealand, way back, like back in around like February or March of this year. People were in tents around Parliament in Wellington. There's some guy on the radio, on ZB Radio, News Talk ZB Radio, and he talked about children are playing in muck and playing in portaloobs, and muck / crap is splashing all over the place, and kids are playing in it, and people are festering around in it. Like, that's just disgusting. Ugh. So they're basically playing in shit. Yeah, but that Freedom Convoy in New Zealand was pretty funny. Some Kiwis there, in the convoy, they talked about, oh, the world is watching us, what we're doing. Like, what do you mean the world's watching you? Like, it's like nighttime in the other parts of the world. Like, people are going to bed, people are in bed sleeping. They're not watching you. Because you guys are in a different time zone, and the people who you assume that are watching you, they're sleeping they're going to bed and they're already in bed sleeping because it's nighttime where they're at. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, so, and overall, I heard some guy on the radio, on ZB Radio, talked about, oh, people in other countries think New Zealand is all sunshine and lollipops. And it's not. And he says not. And, I could tell you guys something about New Zealand. Not much. They have Maori gangs. The Maori people, they're the original inhabitants of New Zealand. And heard about some Maori gangs terrorizing people in some parts of New Zealand. Crime is bad. I heard that the government there is soft on crime, and they talked about the Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern is crazy. And speaking of Jacinda Ardern, I heard about her going to the White House to visit with President Biden, and Joe Biden talked to Jacinda Ardern about, my country has a mass shooting problem, and your country has got it right on that. Can you please give me some advice? And I'm saying to myself, like, you ain't, like, Joe Biden, like, this guy isn't doing absolutely nothing, and he's gonna ask Jacinda Ardern that, like, and I know full well he's not gonna do what she did in her country, Jacinda Ardern, yeah, after that Christchurch shooting, she signed a bill to ban like different types of guns. But yeah, it'd be great Joe Biden go take a page out of Jacinda Ardern's playbook, but I don't think he's going to do that because he's corrupt. He doesn't do anything and so I'm trying my best not to get political, so I'm gonna get off of that dog. So anyway, New Zealand. The people are nice and laid back as I see it, but I gotta go to that country and see what these people are all about, see how things are there. I'm not gonna say that country doesn't have any problems. I mean, that country has problems, and also other countries have problems as well. So I'm not going to pretend like New Zealand is perfect. But, I think that's a country that's worth visiting, that is a country that's worth my time to go and visit and see, along with Australia and some Asian countries. I'll do Europe first, and I'll go to those other countries. I might go to Africa, and might go to some countries in South America. And speaking of South America, someone wants me to do a video about South America, so I'll do that if I have the chance. So, New Zealand. It's an interesting country. Watched some videos on YouTube about it, and I saw a part of New Zealand. And saw a road that goes through a mountain in New Zealand, and this road that went through this mountain somewhere in New Zealand kind of reminds me of a winding mountain road somewhere in California, my home state, here in the U.S. So, and also some parts of Australia, looking at on Google Maps and also on videos on YouTube, kind of remind me of California a little bit. So I'll visit New Zealand along with Australia, but it'll be interesting to see how things are in New Zealand and how things look there, and driving on the left side of the road using the metric system, New Zealand English, talking and chatting with Kiwis. I think there's one Kiwi that I need to stay away from. Tova O'Brien. She is vicious. She ripped apart a politician in some news segment on some news channel there in New Zealand. So I'm gonna stay clear away from her. Yeah, she just rips people apart who are full of crap, but I'm not full of crap at all. So I'm not looking to get special treatment from this woman. I don't care. Treat me just like anybody else. Doesn't matter to me. So that's all I gotta say in this video. Cheers.